Welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Life Podcast, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts and delivered by DoorDash.
What was that?
Me, you guys. Oh, I got a moist mouth.
All night long, all I dream about is like the mountains in my hair. So I'm ready to do some business.
Damn right, we're ready to do some business. Hello, this is episode 315 of the Real Life Podcast. Did that intro have two?
Who is this?
He's a travel blogger.
Wanye's master plan was to elevate my career so quickly that I would have no opportunity to be on the Real Life Podcast. Instead of trying to sink me, you went the reverse route. You were like, I'm going to make Yaremchuk as popular as possible, hook him up with Frank Seravalli, and that way he's finally off my damn podcast. But it didn't work.
There's only one way to get rid of Yaremchuk, and it's just to make him so important and popular that one day he looks at us and goes, this is a fucking terrible podcast. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of us on this podcast was interviewing a handful of NHLers and the assistant deputy commissioner, whatever his name is, whatever his title is. And the other ones were not.
Well, and one of us apparently has changed his look because he's more professional in interviewing all these highfalutin people, and others have not.
Have I changed my look?
Well, you got the hair, you got the parts, you got the sweater.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I actually am going hat today.
You do look a little... I got to say something about your fashion sense then, because you do look a little more put together right now. And maybe that's after a week of working with some real pros. But I did look on Instagram and you were at a Toronto Blue Jays game, were you not?
Yes, correct.
Games up.
Yeah.
I got to say, did you prepare to have a color-coded mask, like to look that well put together at a baseball game? Is that like the Yaremchuk that I've never known to be that well color coordinated and that thoughtful in their outfits, or was that just did you buy that mask there because you forgot one?
No, I packed my two. I have two different shades of blue masks, and I knew I would need one for each Jays game. My girlfriend always says I'm the fashionable one in this relationship. I like being whatever nicely put together when I go.
There's a humble brag there too.
Well, you're a big jersey guy too. I think you're like a good game day fashionista.
Yeah. It's like when you're going to an Oilers game, you always want to make sure your hoodie underneath the jersey is matching the jersey and your toques got to tie into with it. Yeah.
Like tell us like this weekend, I think it was transformational. And I don't know what's going on. I think we report to Yaremchuk now.
Yeah. Basically.
He was out for wings with business dad. Like,
yeah.
Who the
went to a game together?
What are you doing behind my back here?
First off, need to let everyone know that we all report to the HGA group because they are the title sponsor of this podcast. Their group of business services is here to take your business to the next level. HGA Group. Check them out on Twitter, Instagram, and online.
Tyler's got an appointment with HGA Group on all of his business needs starting immediately when this podcast ends.
And most importantly, HGA reports to the government for you, which makes sure that you can live on the outside and not on the inside.
Yeah. Tyler had otherwise thought about tax evasion, so I'm glad the HGA Group is here to advise.
Yeah. Don't let Tyler commit tax evasion, HGA. They won't, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few nice dinners on the weekend, one of which, like the one that the photo was posted of like Frank took me out for dinner with like the entire ESPN NHL staff. And I showed up wearing like, a button-up shirt, kind of open over a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, I look like pretty good. I'm not wearing a hat. Show up. Kevin Weeks is wearing a full-on all black tuxedo, like at this steakhouse. And I was like, oh, great. I automatically look like shit. This is good. I went out for wings with business dad to this little pub in Toronto that was like, you would drive right past it if you weren't looking for it. It was, I wouldn't call it a hole in the wall. It was very nice. But it was right by where he lived when he lived in Toronto, he said, and he would go to this place all the time. So he like knew the staff there, like first name basis. Like I was sitting there and business dad was like, hey, who's in the back cooking? And I was like, what?
You must have really felt like you made it on this trip after like getting fired from 1260 or whatever. And now like, you have a new job. And like,
they really found a soft landing.
It's like when your girlfriend dumps you after cheating on you for like 6 years, and then
he's going to replace her with Mila Kunis.
You see her. Yeah. It's a very forgetting Sarah Marshall type thing where she comes back to it. She sees you and she goes, good God, what happened to him? 3 days later, look at him. Look at him. Look at us.
It was really starting the new job off with a bang when you're like, oh, hey, I got this new gig with DailyFaceoff and I'm in Chicago one-on-one with Nathan McKinnon today. It felt good to do that. It did. I wouldn't compare it to like an ex-girlfriend thing because I got all love for 1260. But
are these guys?
You got, remember, you got broken up from, so of course you love your ex-girlfriend.
It's cool. It's cool to sit across from Nathan McKinnon. I'm sure you look at him and you're just like, Jesus, that's Nathan McKinnon. Did it ever stop being like that on the second day after you had done 14 different hockey players? Like,
I feel like Yaremchuk's a pro and none of it's cool to him. He's like, oh, really, Nathan McKinnon?
I think that still gets to
you.
Me,
Nathan McKinnon. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk.
Yeah.
So I have a couple stories. So our first guest was Bill Daly, the deputy commissioner.
What?
And
Put in a good word.
And the three media.
Did he have any lawsuits or anything for the company that he wanted to serve you with? Or anything? Was he like, oh, DailyFaceoff, here's a bunch of binders for you?
So
you've been served.
I am not sure if I'm allowed to say this because we talked about it before we started recording, but we sit down with Bill Daly and it's like, oh, Bill, how's it going? Frank's chatting with him. He goes, not bad. My basement flooded recently.
And were you staying at Bill Daly's house? Were you house sitting?
I had a good chuckle about that. He didn't understand why I was laughing at the fact his basement had flooded recently.
Were you enjoying a burrito when you were hearing this news?
No.
Yeah. Did you borrow his hot tub immediately after the news broke?
Did you regale him with your great story or no?
No, because we only had 15 minutes with him, and we spent like 5 minutes of it was him like talking about his basement. And Frank and I were like, all right, like we got to go here.
Oh, this was actually on the interview. This wasn't just like the pre-interview banter.
The pre-interview banter was worked into our 15 minutes. We knew we only had until like 8:15 with him, and he walked in the room like right at 8.
These guys do. These guys do this shit on purpose. It's like when politicians go on like David Letterman and shit, and they talk for like late night or something, and they talk for so long. It's an old tactic. If you answer the first question, you know you have 15 minutes. And the first question, you take like 7 to 8 minutes to answer it. They know they only after one more question. They're trying to limit the amount of questions you get to ask them. That's a smart move by him, by the way, bringing up.
Did you beatbox for him, Yaremchuk? Did you do your beatboxing for him?
And we know you've been practicing.
You didn't beatbox for Daly?
No, I did not beatbox for Daly.
Did you ask him his favorite song off Donda?
Doesn't strike me as a Donda guy. Found out he's a big Disney guy, though. He goes to Disney a lot.
What's yours, Bag Milk?
I like Jail Part 2 and Hurricane, personally.
I love Jail.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
I like off Donda. Yeah,
I'm a big
Jail's really good. And then
I'm a big,
what's the one Lord? What's the one? Jesus Lord?
Yeah, Jesus Lord.
It's a good track, man. Down here made me religious.
I like Okay. That's probably my number one.
It's probably what Bill Daly would have said. He would have said it was a fine album if you asked him.
Nah, he didn't know shit about Kanye.
What do you think, Chalmers, how that whole album has no swears and everything's like pretty PG lyrics? Is it going to make you live a clean life?
No, we talked for 4 minutes before this podcast, and I laid out all my problems in life to you guys. I think I swore probably about 47 times, and I think I probably said some really bad ones, like things. So
good anyways, swears, the ones you don't bring out for polite conversation.
No, it's not going to work. So, but anyways, Bill Daly was your first guest. So who was the best guest?
Yeah,
so the way it kind of went was it was us, the Associated Press, and the Athletic sitting at a little round table. And
what? You, the Vatican, and the Pentagon sitting around chatting.
So we decided before that we're like, hey, instead of getting 5 minutes with each guy, let's just all sit at one table and just share the 15 minutes. That way, if someone wants to go longer with a certain player, they can, or whatever. We actually didn't use the full 15 on most of these guys anyways. But anyway, so we get this interview with Bill Daly, and he breaks to us that he's expecting only 10 to 15 NHLers to be unvaccinated when the season starts. So as soon as we end, Frank's like, okay, we got the first interview with this. Like, I'm going to go run right now and write this story so we can get it out before any of the other media outlets get a hold of that fact, right? So we can break it.
Frank.
And then that way, like when Sportsnet put out their article on it later in the day, they had to say in there, Bill Daly told Frank Seravalli of DailyFaceoff about this. So it was a great move by Frank. But since Frank was working on that story, he couldn't be in the room with the players we were getting to roll through because he was out in another room writing his story. So the first guy that came through was like Dylan Larkin. And I was just sitting there. I was like, well, Frank's not here to ask our questions. Like I have to. So it was really like being pushed off the deep end. And I kind of surprised myself with how like not at all starstruck I was. Like the question. Of
course not, Yaremchuk. You're a legitimate media guy. You don't give a flying fuck.
I was like, it's like, there's so many hot girls around, but I was like really cool, you guys.
And
that's good.
the other thing that helps is like the questions I wanted to ask were all like super lighthearted things that I'm going to put into like a YouTube video. Like I wasn't doing a lot of hard hitting journalism, except when we knew Alexander Barkov was coming through and Frank was like, I want to ask him about his contract year. And then right before Barkov comes in, Frank gets a call and he's like, fuck, I got to take this call. So he leaves, Barkov sits down and I was like, oh shit, like I need to ask the hard hitting journalist questions. So like I asked Alex Barkov, I was like, exciting off season, but you're in a contract year. Like, is that weighing on you at all? And he gave me like a roundabout answer. So I like gave him a, will you or will you not negotiate with the Panthers during the season? I like hit him with like a hard.
Good job, buddy. Good
I felt
job.
so fucking good about myself. I'm like, Frank's gonna be so proud of me that like I hit Barkov with this, and Barkov gave me like a kind of shitty answer, so it didn't really get.
Tell him you can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Listen here, Alexander.
Just tell him honestly, if you want, you should have told him you're buddies with Larvinen. That would have totally diffused the whole situation.
Yeah, true. I should have. But anyways, that was cool. We had Nathan McKinnon for like 15 minutes, and he was just a beauty. Like he's just. There was a few guys that you can tell they're just like total hockey bros. McKinnon was like super approachable and like super easy going. He gave great answers to our questions. And he talked about that whole diet thing that went on, all those memes. And when we stopped recording, we were like, oh, is there one that like really stood out to you? And the one he said that stood out to him is like, oh yeah, like good thing we didn't record that because it was one of the more inappropriate ones. So I thought that was pretty funny. Who else did we talk to? Steven Stamkos was really, really nice as well. Drew Doughty.
Did you mention how he looks exactly like our friend Trevor Fenton? Did you mention that to Stamkos? You didn't? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I guess not every interview was great. Go on.
Yeah, teach their own.
Really not asking all the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
Didn't even bring up the Fenton connection.
He just won 2 cups in a row. He better be easy going. Life's good.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Like by the end of the day, by the time it'd be like 3:00 and you've done like 14 of these, you're kind of like,
well, who the hell else were you talking to?
Well, like by the time like Tomas Hertl rolls in at 3:30, you're kind of like, I don't know if I really need to talk to Tomas Hertl right now. Like I'm kind of exhausted and I want to eat for the first time today. And like Dylan Cousins too. Like Dylan Cousins was like 5:00 one day and we all sat there and we were like all the reporters in the room were like, we might be good. Like we've been here for like 6 or 7 hours.
Oh
like,
my God.
Cousins, that's a good one.
He was, and he ended up actually coming in. He ended up coming in early, so we interviewed him anyways. But
I'd hit him with a hard question like, "Who the hell are you, and what team do you play for?"
Yeah.
He's from Whitehorse, man. That guy's got a good story.
I got a question. Yeah. Why was Matthew Tkachuk the only like player from a Canadian team that was down there? It seemed like.
So the Canadian teams had to send their player reps up to Toronto, so they did an event in Toronto. Matt Tkachuk, since he's an American on a Canadian team, I guess was kind of like, I'm not going up to Calgary yet. Maybe there was even something about getting across the border. I don't know that for sure, though. And Tkachuk just opted to go to the Chicago event.
Matthew Tkachuk hates Toronto. There's your headline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Calgary, I think.
Yeah. Matthew Tkachuk hates Calgary and Toronto.
He was actually really nice.
Oh, I'm sure
I know Wanye
sure
likes him too. So that's confirming for you, Wanye. He's a really nice guy, actually.
He's very nice. Still hates Calgary and Toronto. That's fine.
He's done a great job as a guy. Like I'm a big fan of Tkachuk. He's done a great job submarining the Calgary Flames franchise, like on the inside. You know what I mean? He's also working on
submarining the Ottawa Senators franchise as well.
Oh my God, I was thinking the wrong Tkachuk. No, I don't like that Tkachuk. I like the one down in Calgary.
No, that's the right one. You got the right one. But he did a podcast, Matthew Tkachuk did, talking about his brother's contract negotiation in Ottawa. And he was going on about how they're not close at all. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, they're not close at all. So me and my dad have to get involved in these contract negotiations or something like that. And it's
I got tricked by a Twitter. Sorry, buddy.
No, go ahead. It's just causing all kinds of mayhem in Ottawa as well.
I got tricked by a parody Twitter account that said that the Sabres had offer sheeted Brody or whichever one it is that's free agent. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then I texted a buddy of mine. He was like, no, man, that didn't happen. I'm like, no, it did. And I screenshotted the tweet and sent it to him. He's like, you got tricked by a parody account again, Wanye. The internet, eh?
Motherfuckers. Is the best of us.
I got to keep this cool sign though. And I know this is a podcast, but it's the Player Media Tour Daily Faceoff sign. So I got to keep that.
Hey, that is cool.
That's boss.
It's really nice. I'm going to keep it right over here.
Did a single person say to you, wow, Daily Faceoff, that thing's popping?
Yeah, like all the other media people we talked to there were like, oh, this is a really cool thing like you guys are doing. And they were, I mean, mainly talking to Frank because, I mean, I'm me and I'm new on the scene.
Sir, you're the guy to watch according to dailyfaceoff.com. So tell them to go fuck themselves.
But yeah, I think everyone that talked to Frank was like super excited about what he has kind of going on there and the idea that he's sort of like frontiering a new website. Like it's interesting, right? He didn't just go the route of like, I'm taking my talents to ESPN. He went the route of like, let's build something cool.
He said, I want to work with Tyler Yaremchuk, see what the king looks like up close.
Yep. Yep.
Heavy wears the crown.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the only thing Frank told all the ESPN people about me is that I'm very young. So, cause like when they were coming to sit down at dinner, like 3 ESPN people came up at different times. I was like, oh, hey, like I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. Nice to meet you. And they're like, you're the one born in 98. I was like, no, it's 97, but thank you. Then that's all they knew about me was just that I was young. So.
Oh,
did you look to your left at the dinner, look to your right at the dinner, and know that in 4 short years you were going to be in charge of everyone there?
I don't think I'm going to be managing Kevin Weeks anytime soon.
How was Bucci Mane? How was Bucci Mane?
He was cool. Like he's exactly like he kind of is like on TV, right? He's just like super outgoing and he's I don't mean this in like a rude way, but he's like the loudest voice at the table, right? Like he's in on every conversation. He's cracking jokes 24/7. He's just a super outgoing guy. So yeah, it was fun. It was cool to meet him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm. I saw a guy doing card tricks in front of 2 people on a bench in downtown Chicago. And I think the 2 people were on drugs based on what was surrounding them. And that was like a weird thing to walk by. I was like, why would you be doing card tricks for them? That doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
What was the state of Chicago given the state of the world? Like, were you like, oh, damn, this shit's unsafe or what?
So I think it was the day I got there, if not maybe a couple days before, but they reinstated their mask mandate in Illinois. So everyone had to be masked up if you were inside, and the NHL as well. Like everyone at the NHL event had to be masked up unless you were a player actively doing media. So I actually felt like pretty safe. Like even going out for dinner, you're kind of just, you know, you're at a table with like Frank and the guys you're kind of around all day. So it wasn't a big deal. And the masks were on everywhere and all that. I did get almost refused from the place we went to dinner on Thursday night. We were talking about my inability to dress. I was just wearing like a gray or like a cream colored t-shirt with like a black bomber jacket on top. And I like walked up to the door and there was 2 bouncers at this place and it's just a restaurant, not like a club. And they looked at me and they're like, oh, we're not supposed to let you in. Like the rule is no t-shirts. And I was like, really? Like, I didn't think this place was that fancy. Sorry. I was like, I can go change. And they were like, no, you just got to keep your coat zipped up the entire time. So I had to eat dinner in like this boiling hot steakhouse with my jacket like zipped up to my neck so that you couldn't see my t-shirt.
Now that you're in the big leagues, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. When people tell you rules like that and you walk past them, the rule is over. You can take your jacket off.
Fair enough.
And you say, you know who I am, motherfucker? And then they'll be like, yikes, this guy's born in 97, and they'll leave you alone.
I remember I went to a fancy restaurant and they made me wear a blazer that they had. They had like blazers for people.
Oh, that's like Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. And it didn't fit at all.
The Friars Club.
So it was kind of like cool that it didn't, because it was like me like protesting the fact that they thought I was a bum, which they are right. But yeah.
Also, anyways. Why was I getting emails from someone called reallifetruther@gmail.com saying an expense report for the Ritz-Carlton was denied? Why would that even be coming up in my inbox?
I didn't know that we really weren't allowed to talk about it. I thought you were just trying to mild flex. So we flexed on your behalf, because it's kind of like that song Scrubs about hanging out the passenger side of your best friend's ride. If one of us stays in the Ritz-Carlton, we all stay in the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah, I was told not to tell anyone about that. Then I started getting emails and tagged in tweets, and I was like, well, out of my control now. Don't know how this happened.
I'm happy to report also that Tyler did think of me and bring me a pen.
And a notepad.
Well, that's nice.
That's a good man. I'm a big pen guy.
Tyler,
I got one quick question. One quick question, Wanye. Sorry, only you and I will care about this probably. Tyler, you got a firsthand glimpse of Coombsy's new beard. What does that baby look like up close in person?
Well, also something I like about Coombsy, he's going beard with the bald head look, and I respect that. I think it's a great look for Coombsy. The beard is luscious. It looks great. And Coombsy's Coombsy. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. That's all.
Also,
proceed.
So I'm sitting at the Blue Jays game and talking to Cam, whatever, baseball, blah, blah, blah. Then I was like, oh, George Springer's coming up. If he gets a hit, my parlay's completed. It's like the 4th inning. And the guy sitting in front of me turns around and is like, if your parlay doesn't hit, you can have this. And it was $50 to a sports book. Turns out that guy was Chris Abbott, who like I've known for years now. I've done like promo work with Cool Bet before. He used to be on the radio show all the time that I produced. Like me and Chris Abbott probably talk every week. And I didn't notice him sitting right in front of me at the Jays game. But so also what are the fucking odds that I'm at this game with Cam and the guy sitting in front of me hears me talking about parlays and it happens to be some guy I've known for like 3 years. Insane.
Also like that he's just got 50 bones, just like little tickets to throw around, little funny money going on in there. I like it.
He says he brings it to every baseball game he goes to because there's always someone around him talking about betting and he gives him $50.
And so like to put on Cool Bet, is it like a Cool Bet certificate?
Yeah, it was like
or is it like a 50, like a red $50 bill?
No, it was like a red 50 or no, it was like a Cool Bet gift card.
Oh, I like that. Okay, good.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, weird coincidence there. Toronto's beautiful as well. Man, I love being in Toronto. The water's great.
Totally.
CN Tower's beautiful. Jays games are fucking unbelievable. I could go to a Jays game every day.
Drake's on fire.
How are those wings? You never told us about the wings. I want to know about the wings.
I keep getting sidetracked. So I went for lunch with
what wings?
Yeah,
well, let them
the Red Wings.
Went for lunch with business dad and his wife. Do we call her business mom?
Sure.
Or Lisa.
Or Lisa.
Lady.
Okay. Anyways, went up for lunch with Chris and Lisa. And it was unreal. Like I said, Chris knew everyone by like their first name in this place. We were talking about like NFL betting with our server. And we ordered wings. I'm not a big fan of spice, so I went pretty mild with my choice.
Typical Yaremchuk. Go ahead.
Yeah. And when we ordered them, Chris was like, oh, by the way, like cook them well done. Leave them in there for an extra couple minutes. And those were like some of the best wings I've ever had. They were freaking awesome. So
a little crispy.
Yeah, they were like nice and crispy. Like you weren't like, you know, sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you get wings and they're like slimy a little bit. No slime. Disgusting. It was just that's
a lazy grease cook there.
No corners
just wants to get them out. What was the place called? You're not allowed to say or what?
Crown and Dragon.
Nice.
Yeah. Tiny little.
Was this in like downtown Toronto?
No, it was up Yorkville. So it was like 15 minutes from downtown.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame before. There's no point in going to that when you're in Toronto, is there?
I've been there twice now, actually. Once you've seen it once or twice, it's kind of like meh. Yeah, Toronto's great. What'd you guys talk about while I was gone? How was Waz?
Mostly you.
Yeah. We talked about you a lot.
I skipped it. I was my silent protest. If Yaremchuk's not working, I'm not working. We're both gonna have no pride in our work and just go.
Were you at dinner with Bucci Mane? I don't think so.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
Who
that is?
You don't know who John Buccigross is? He's like one of the ESPN.
Oh, anchors. I know who he is. Yeah.
Twitter name is Bucci Mane.
Can we talk about? Okay, speaking of TSN anchors, I want to know if you guys saw this. Norm Macdonald obviously passed away, and it was heartbreaking. A lot of people, hiding his cancer. We're not going to get into that because he's the king of just deadpanning the most awkward jokes in the world. But Jay Onright decided to post a picture on his Instagram account and Twitter of him with his arm around Norm Macdonald saying, "Rest in peace, big fella." And the very first comment on the picture was the full picture, which included Dan O'Toole, also on the other side of Norm Macdonald, with a caption that said, "R.I.P. indeed."
So that wasn't Jay Onright directly that posted it. That was the Jay on SC team or TSN's team that posted it. But that was pretty greasy.
Oh no.
Either way, terrific look.
Savage.
Man.
Just a bad look. Like, man. I would love the only thing that relationship needs though is like public beef. Maybe get Dan O'Toole back in the limelight.
Coming back, again. They're launching an album.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was pretty. When
I'm seeing the photo right now. It's just the worst.
He's just totally cropped out of it.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed that one a lot. Hey, so I'm going to just hijack this for a minute. Did anybody do your homework?
Yeah,
Homer?
My dog ate it?
This is
My
the
dog
worst
ate it.
And we
fucking
talked,
hungry.
no, Charles, we talked about it last week.
Yeah. The Danbury doc?
No, the new homework.
What?
Shave my zone with the level 4
We
manscaper?
talked about watching the tennis one between Andy Roddick and Marty Fish.
Man, Andy Roddick has aged poorly. He looks
You
like an
guys,
old young man.
How did you get through school? Is this the type of effort level that there is to be expected when we give homework?
All you
With
get me
the
watching
grind.
tennis documentaries. Damn it, there's a pandemic.
Chalmers, I watched
Dude.
like. Remember, I
It's
pitched it to
awesome.
you. How good was it?
It's so good, man.
I knew it.
So the couple things, just like the Danbury Thrashers, there's a lot of people that have reviewed that show who have been in sports a long time and kind of said, like, how the fuck did we miss this? How did I not know this was happening at the time it was happening? Well,
What was happening?
that the Danbury Thrashers were run by a 17-year-old mafia boss's son.
I thought you were referring to
Chalmers.
Andy Roddick.
I gotta correct you. You've been calling them Thrashers now for 2 weeks. They're the Trashers.
I just got my tongue. I'm sick of yelling at people.
I
on
just,
the job sites.
I know.
Probably.
This is probably the 100th.
Hold on. Did you just hear Chalmers blame his tongue in the 8th person? For fucking up?
The Thrashers.
Oh, my tongue does what it wants. You mean you say weird shit?
It's getting in the way. It's letting me down. Okay, Trashers. The Danbury Trashers. Okay, but I was a big fan of tennis as a kid, and especially around that time I was really into tennis because I really liked, Federer and Nadal and like Andre Agassi was just ending with like macaron career. Anyways, I like tennis. And I liked Andy Roddick, and I had no idea that there was like this other American tennis star that was his best friend. And that, Beg Milk, you said it perfectly. Like, one starts at the top and the other one's at the bottom, and through just the way that they deal with their lives in the next 10 years, they kind of go in two opposite directions. But the outcome of the whole documentary, it's more of just a mental health documentary and like showing just the immense pressure that people can be under. I watched it last night when I got home, and it was awesome. Like, it was just so well. Those Untolds are really well
really
made.
good.
The footage, you always wonder, like, I don't know when they started production on that, but that seems like it would have taken a couple to 3 years just to make that, because of all like the perfect way that they just put the clips to the voicing of the clips by the people involved in the documentary. Anyways,
here's my problem with tennis, Chalmers. Remember Michael Chang?
Of course.
Comes out of nowhere. He's a superstar tennis player. He walks off the court one day after winning, and he's never heard from again. Right. And they never mention it in the media. Michael Chang hasn't been seen in 20 years, Chalmers, and tennis has never looked into it. That's my problem with tennis.
Have you?
That never happened? Is that what you're telling me? That entire Michael Chang thing I told you right now is a lie because that's the only tennis player I can think of, and I'm trying to fit in? Well, fuck you. How's that sound? Michael Chang knows everything here.
Michael Chang did the sneaky underhand serve.
So, and then
he disappeared.
Remember we talked about like the rise of Canadian tennis, like right now, like back then, American tennis was just blowing people away. So I couldn't help but just to look at the like tennis rankings for the past 3 years. And American tennis, for the men's side, it's been abysmal. Like other than John Isner, you probably couldn't name another American tennis player right now.
I couldn't name John.
Serena Williams?
No, men's side.
Michael Chang,
Marty Fish.
Marty Fish. And so when we were talking about like the rise of Canadian tennis and who maybe were the spark plugs for this, I went back and looked at like a lot of the US Opens and stuff. Milos Raonic was really fucking good. Like he made some, but it was short lived. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of what it shows you in the documentary is like Marty Fish, he was there, but he really only like exploded for like 1 year.
Yep.
And that 1 year explosion and what it took to have that was so hard on him that it basically like
set him back.
It sent him basically to nowhere. Like he wasn't even in the game anymore. So anyways, it was a crazy documentary. I love those sports docs. I haven't watched the other two on there, but man, if they're even close to as good as the first three that I've watched, Like these are better than 30 for 30s in some ways.
I just watched the Caitlyn Jenner one. It's pretty awesome. It goes through the entire Olympic experience to where she's at now. It was pretty cool to watch. Great
so
story.
when Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner, only thing I really knew about him was at one point, because if you're the decathlete champion of the world, you're basically like the world's greatest athlete in people's mind, correct?
Yep.
And like
there's part of it in the documentary, Chalmers, where it goes into how much that title of the world's best athlete meant. And that's exactly a big part of it. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. That's all I just can, he went through that and then became Caitlyn Jenner. There's not much I know about that whole situation. So I can see why that would be a good documentary to watch.
You'll love it. It's a good one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, sorry for hijacking it, but it was fucking good.
No, there's a good tie in here, because if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I just need a relaxing
no one's listening.
night.
Don't you worry about that.
I know. But for the 12 people who are, and 4 of them are on this podcast, if you're like, business is tough, I need a nice relaxing night, go throw on one of the Untold documentaries and then order in dinner from our friends at DoorDash. And if you've never ordered on DoorDash, ding dong. Promo code RealLifeDD. It's going to get new customers 25% off and no delivery fee on their first order. That is good. That's very good. You can have a nice night with dinner brought right to your door. Choose from one of the hundreds of restaurants that are available on DoorDash. Do I know if there's hundreds? No, but I know there's a lot, and that sounded good. DoorDash, ding dong.
Counted?
Didn't even count.
I also
DoorDash
I
want to say, oh, sorry.
50-degree lean Tyler's got going on right now, by the way.
It says I've arrived lean.
This is the
also
boss man lean.
Avoiding the grind lean as well.
That is a DoorDash lean right there.
Is avoid the grind a saying, or did you coin that term, Yaremchuk?
Bag Milk and Jay kind of made it up.
Yeah,
that is going places online. I see.
Avoid the grind is where it's at.
I think everything I post now gets an avoid the grind hashtag from either Brad Stepanko or someone.
Well, what are your posts about? They're about you avoiding the grind.
I was in Jasper over the weekend and I was getting a bunch of avoid the grind hashtags, and it was the best. I love it. Keep using them. Keep spreading it.
Our buddy on Instagram, he loves to use, I think his name's Cody. He loves to use avoid the grind. It's becoming a thing. It's becoming a thing.
It's a state of mind, man.
I think we could launch.
It's a way of life.
But
I think we could launch a llimited edition run of Avoid the Grind Nation gear. I would love a shirt that says Avoid the Grind.
Here's the problem. We're gonna let some people in on our pre-talk, and we're not.
I was just gonna ask Chalmers before you rant.
Chalmers loves
avoid the grind. Chalmers loves it when no one does their job.
Chalmers' life's flipped upside down because of this movement of avoiding the grind.
Okay, so let's go behind the scenes. Let's go behind the scenes here. I get onto the Zoom call where you guys are all laughing about Nicki Minaj's cousin's balls.
They're so endorsed.
And I can't add anything to that because I'm just
Chalmers a half a man.
Just not in the mood, and it became quickly holy fuck, what's wrong? And so I went on a little bit of a rant. I went on a little bit of a rant because, as you guys all know, I deal with tradesmen. I build houses.
Real life.
I have real life stuff. And avoid the grind as a hashtag is my biggest fucking nightmare right now, because it seems like there's a lot of people out there avoiding said grind. And I would really like to ask you to stop it. Have some pride in your life. Wake up with purpose.
Well, Chalmers, you'd have to take out their messiah, and that's one Tyler Yaremchuk.
Yeah,
he's the one they look up to.
So
no, he's marking it. We're not talking politics.
You just brought politics into the podcast.
Yeah, he's marking that to cut that one out. You know.
Okay.
I just don't know if we need to go there.
Yeah, that's what gets us pulled off
really
Apple
great
Podcast.
I hope they all get an equal amount of votes tonight. I hope they all have a good time. I hope that they're all satisfied with how their election campaigns went.
Go vote, everybody.
Yeah, go vote.
Listen to this on Monday.
Yeah, that's
vote.
That's the only message we want to get out there.
Yeah, go vote. I voted this morning. It was seamless, very quick, in and out.
Very quick.
We're talking about that online vote for the new flavor of Dorito, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Crunch Berry Supreme.
Cool. Delish. Everyone go vote.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's serious.
That doesn't even matter. No one's
even
listening.
matter. What does it matter anymore?
No one even notices.
Nobody works anymore.
Time's a flat circle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know what? Time isn't a flat circle. I'm going to do a little rant.
What time isn't
fucking want to head me off at the? Go ahead.
No. Go. You go. I want to.
No. You insist. No. Wanye Jr.'s birthday. He's 1 year old, man.
Hey, happy birthday, Wanye.
Congrats. Happy birthday, Wanye Jr. What'd you get him?
Crazy.
What did I get him, Chalmers? How about a fucking Ford Raptor push truck? That's what I got him.
Nice.
I went to Toys R Us. I said, show me where the non-bitch parents shop. I want to see what the kings get. Show me what Tyler Yaremchuk would buy if he had a kid.
Show me where the non-bitch parents shop.
Yeah, they're like, come right over here, sir. Let's get you right past all these wooden toys and directly into motor vehicles. And I was like, my kid ain't driving no F-150. Does it come in Raptor? And they were like, it does indeed. And I was like, can I push it down the street?
F-150.
Raptor?
No, it's not a Raptor.
Then you're not my son. Now, the problem, and Chalmers, you can have a good laugh about this, is that it probably would have been easier for me to assemble an actual car than this fucking child's truck.
Oh, guaranteed.
It took me, no exaggeration, 5 hours. And I was like, I don't know if this is worth it. But then I thought about little Wanye Jr. flexing on all the other children as I push him down the street as he beams with pride. And I powered through. And I realized at the end of the day, it's a child's vehicle. It's not going to do 35 kilometers an hour. If a wheel falls off, I'm probably going to be within 2 feet of him. That's my rant.
Those are hard to put together. Anything like that is hard to put together. And I don't know if you're one of these people that don't like
know how to do anything with their hands except tweet. Yeah, I am that person. Yeah.
If you're one of those people that when you get something, it's in a box and it has all the fasteners in like its own box and then it's all in pieces and you don't take that box out, put the instructions to the left, put all the fasteners to the right, and then lay out all the pieces and then go through the whole manual first, then you
Chalmers, did we just meet on this podcast in the intro? What the
I'm a nerd.
Let me tell you how I
built this. Remake something. You know who's never had to rebuild something? You know who probably sets every land speed record in getting shit done, putting it together?
Congratulations. On the other hand, I watched 5 hours of interviews with gangster rappers on Drink Champs, which is a hell of a show.
You know who doesn't finish up and think to themselves, why is there like 10 extra parts here? You know who doesn't do that? This guy.
Chalmers, you'll be happy to know I unscrewed it all and I put
some
washers.
Fucking pride.
Just hold your water.
Right.
I went and put fucking washers
Chalmers,
on
I think this
screw.
is deeper for you than just a power wheel.
It's not about a power wheel
on every
anymore.
screw, Chalmers. This motherfucker will not come apart.
Oh God. Just call me, just like I do, and my everyday life. Just call me, and I'll come do it, so it'll get done right.
Yeah, how did you enjoy Sunday football, Chalmers?
I loved it. You know what? The thing that I look forward to the most about Sunday football is not the Sunday football in itself. It's the Monday morning viral fight video. Because
everybody's fighting.
Beauty lot.
Okay, Cleveland Brown fans.
Unbelievable.
What the hell?
They called a riot. They said a riot is breaking out.
Okay, first of
all,
you
don't know how to get together in large groups anymore.
Hey, well, there's a lot of pent up energy, but you got to go to the Muni lot. It is a sight to be seen.
Let me break this down for everybody. These are all Cleveland Brown fans in a place where everybody should be getting together to have a great time before a football game. Number one. Number two, that guy in the white jersey, that jersey was way too clean to be getting in a fight at fucking 10 in the morning. Number three, when that big black guy that looks like Ving Rhames comes in and tries to break it up.
Oh yeah.
Hey, little white guy, maybe don't throw a punch at him because that's what sets off the riot. And it is disgusting. And then David, and then there's always the one drunk guy.
Get out of there. David, get out of
there's
there.
Always the one drunk guy who's like right in the middle of it at the end. And he has no business in there. And he's trying to play Mr. Peacekeeper. Yeah. But the part that I didn't like the most was the guy videoing it. If you're going to video a fight, don't be yelling at your friends about how fucking viral I'm going to go. I'm going to go so viral. Like, we don't need commentary on the fight. Let's just watch the fight. Okay, bud? And anybody else that's going to film a fight. But
I agree, Chalmers. The professionalism of amateur fight reporters has gone through the fucking floor.
They used to just be yelling "World Star," you know?
Yeah. Well, it used to be about the fight, and now it's about them.
It's about them.
Buddy. Hey, the last time when I saw the guys fight in the LA Rams stadium, or I saw the guy fight in the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium,
the guy doing
did the guy filming it ever become famous? No, he didn't, sir. He did not. So just, have some pride in your work. Don't be talking over the video.
Yeah. It's either get in the fight or shut up while you're filming it. That's what that's the message here. Oh man, this is wild. I have not seen
to double down on that. Go Browns. Huge win. 31-21.
Only in Cleveland can they simultaneously have a W and an L get served to their own fan base.
Oh, good call by Chalmers too. That guy's jersey is very white. This is just like they didn't think this through.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Punches to the side of the head also. If you haven't seen this video, I'll post it in the article.
It's like a 3-minute fight.
Yeah, it's they're swinging from the shoelaces on this one.
They knock over all these people's beautiful setups. Like, you know how long it takes to get together a tailgate setup, and you have to plan it all at home. You got your barbecue, you got all your meats. It costs a lot of money to get all that stuff, and then you finally get it on site. You set it all up, and then two idiots fall into it because they're fighting each other over God knows what. Like,
put some fucking pride in your work, Chalmers.
I thought it was interesting, Charles. But everyone was so calm though too. Like there's this raging fight coming in through their area and busting through the tables. But
dude,
people around the table were pretty chill about it.
You and I have both been to the Muni lot, and if you go there enough, I'm imagining that your sense of worry when a fight breaks out is probably not that high, because you just get accustomed to stuff like that. Because as we were walking around, the tension in that place just felt
really
immense. You just kind of feel like, don't scuff somebody's shoe. It's, I don't need any of this smoke right now. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Damn.
I don't know. I think it's a happy place. That's just,
okay.
We'll call that an outlier. What happened yesterday?
You might be a little biased, but I'll tell you one thing. We've walked through 5 major NFL teams' best tailgates, and that was the only one where I had my wallet in my front pocket. Let's put it that way. And I wasn't feeling as safe as I might have, in, let's say, Kansas City.
I remember one time coming out of an Oilers game, Chalmers, at the old arena, and we were going to cross by the LRT, and there was this fight going between a guy in a Mike Comrie jersey and a guy in a Mike Modano jersey. And they were just swinging on each other. And there was a full circle of people, like a schoolyard fight, chanting, "Let's go Oilers," as the guy in the Comrie jersey lay up.
That was a playoff game. That was after the Oilers beat Dallas in a playoff game.
I wish we had video of that fight.
And I think Comrie scored the goal too, or something. It was really poetic in terms of.
It was his night.
It was in terms of the jerseys being worn and the fact that Comrie was winning the fight. It was.
And the chanting, "Let's go Oilers," peak Edmonton.
That's playoff mode, baby.
The best. Best. Put some fucking pride into it is all I got to say. This is ridiculous.
I don't understand, and I will not understand. I know that it's alcohol fused, but I have been very, very, very inebriated at a lot of football games, and not one time did I ever think, God, would I like to get in a real cool fight right now? This doesn't make any sense, especially with guys that are wearing the same jersey. Now, you get spilt on, you could turn around and you can just chill out and be like, well, I've spilt on myself 10 times already, so what's one more?
I was going to say, the amount of fights I've broken up that were low-key about to start while you were oblivious in some sort of nightclub or event is hundreds.
Yeah, that's
hundreds, Chalmers. You never sit back stone, sober, or drunk and plan your night. You just go into a crowd of people scuffing.
I do go with the flow, but, I don't know.
You go with the flow.
Scuffing toes.
Oh, my God.
Scuffing toes.
Yeah, that should be cross-stitched over your fucking fireplace.
No,
How
I don't say
Get Down by C.K. Chalmers.
How did you guys like football this weekend?
I was at the Jays game when the early game started, but I still did DraftKings lineups, and my girlfriend always likes to do one DraftKings lineup as well. So we're sitting in the stands at the Jays game, and the first half of the football games are almost done. And I was like, "Oh, you should check your DraftKings lineup," because she had Diggs, she had Jones, she had Cooper Kupp. They had each caught in some touchdowns. She goes and looks, and her $5 entry was winning her $2,500 US. like, holy shit, we might make a lot of money here.
Now, just hold on. Did you just say cotton some touchdowns?
Caught some touchdowns.
I think you did like a past tense of caught, which is past tense. I think you invented a conjugation, double pass.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, she ended up not winning that much money, and it was rather sad, but it was exciting for a bit. She ended up winning like her $5 one won her like $25. So 5 times your money on DraftKings is actually still pretty good. But
you know what? I fucked up. I had an awesome lineup in the afternoon that was crushing. And I fucking hate when I do this because I only do it by accident because my least favorite draft room to enter is the double up. I fucking don't like the double up. I accidentally entered a double up and finished second.
So the way you got to do it is double ups are insurance policies for me. Like if I'm going to enter a $20 DraftKings showdown, I'm also going to throw it in a $10 double up. And it's just my insurance. If I get close and I don't make the money, at least I know I'm winning back a little bit on that insurance policy. And if the lineup hits, it hits. That's good. Thumbs up. I won a little bit more. My double up hit as well.
Well, I didn't mean to, and I was very upset. And I finished second place. That stung. Stung.
I bet on the Jays both games I was there, and I did some pretty aggressive parlays with like player hits as well. And they both ended up hitting, or 2 out of the 3 ended up hitting, but I won enough money betting on the Jays that I paid for my tickets, which was sick.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I heard 2 people on a podcast argue that Vlad Guerrero Jr. is not better than his father. Yaremchuk, your take?
He's too young still. Like his dad's like,
that's kind of what they said too.
His dad's like an all-time legend, but I mean, the season Vlad's having from a purely hitter standpoint, like he's not the MVP. Ohtani's the MVP. But from a purely statistical standpoint, this is an all-time season from Vlad. And it's basically something that no one his age has ever done before. Yeah, that's kind of it right there. Like, I think he has the potential to be better than his dad, because I think Vlad has the potential to go down as like a top 10 all-time hitter, top 8 all-time hitter. Like, I don't know what his ceiling exactly is in the sport. But Vlad right now, no, you can't say he's as good as his dad.
When's his next contract?
Well, baseball's fucked, right? Because like you're under team control, you're arbitration eligible for so many years. Like it's so hard to get to like hit unrestricted free agency. Like he won't be an unrestricted free agent, I think, for like 6 or 7 more years. It's insane. So I think there's a chance the Jays bridge him along and do the arbitration stuff or come up with deals for a while. And then I think at some point he'll get, whether this happens when he's 27 or 26 or 28, he'll get the 10-year, $400 million deal.
How good are the Jays right now? How good can this team be?
They're good enough to host a wild card game now. And I wouldn't have told you that 3 weeks ago. Coombsy and I just did a new episode of Blue Jays Nation Radio earlier today. So if you're a Jays fan and you haven't checked that out, please go do that. But like the way it sits right now, they're 1 game back of the Red Sox and they have 2 games in hand. So they can tie the Red Sox if they win their games in hand. One of them's tonight, one of them's on Thursday. So there's 13 games to go in the season, and they're right there. The Yankees are a game and a half back of them. If the Jays win the game in hand they have on the Yankees, then they'll be 2 up on the Yankees, and the Yankees have a pretty shitty schedule. They also have 3 more head-to-head games against each other. Boston and New York play each other 3 more times. A lot of things line up to lead me to believe the Jays will be in the playoffs, and if they take care of business against some shitty teams, I believe they'll be hosting a wild card game this year, which is unreal.
That is good. Good.
Yep.
You know what Vladdy Jr. should do, Chalmers?
No.
You know what he should do? He should put some fucking pride on that. You know? He should take some pride in his life.
Sounds like he is.
Piece of shit, eh?
He's hitting at like a remarkable rate right now.
He could win the
Michael Chang of baseball.
He could have a triple crown, could he not?
Forget the American League Triple Crown. Like Vladdy could very well win the MLB Triple Crown, which I don't think has been done in like 60 years or something like that. 65 years. Like it's insane. It hasn't been. It's like Mickey Mantle was the last guy to do it.
What is that? What is the elements of a Triple Crown for those of us who don't spend our days watching Blue Jays baseball?
It's when you lead either your league or the majors in batting average, home runs, and RBI. And right now he is the major league leader in batting average. He is tied. Oh no, he's still up. He is the major league leader in home runs as well with 46. And with RBI, he is 8 back of Salvador Perez and Jose Abreu. So if he catches Perez and Abreu, he's going to win the Major League Triple Crown. He's just got to get some RBIs.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
Ribbies. That's special.
It's McDavid-esque stuff, right?
You say
there
RB,
you go.
I say I.
There's your McDavid. Now shut up.
Shut up.
Do we want to talk a little bit of hockey before we wrap up the pod?
Oh, whatever.
I mean,
Whatever.
it is actually, wow, the season actually isn't that far away now, so we may as well start sprinkling it in as we see fit.
Yamamoto signed.
Yeah, we definitely flexed our leverage on that deal, didn't we?
Yeah, cheap one.
Cheap
That
one.
is a bet on yourself deal.
Let me interject here for a moment, Yaremchuk, and get the straight truth from the guy who goes and speaks to Bill Daly.
Mm-hmm.
Is Yamamoto one of these guys that we're just convincing ourselves is the shit because we got nothing better to do? Or is he actually like league wide considered to be good?
Well, no one offer sheeted him.
Yeah, no one offer sheeted him. That's interesting. No, I think his perception amongst Oilers fans is generally correct. He's a young player who, when he's in a support role, should be good. He's coming off a not great season though, and he's young and has upside. It's not much more to that, in my opinion.
But we're not making mountains out of molehills thinking he's a serviceable player.
No, because I think he is a serviceable player. He's kind of proven that. I don't think he's one of those guys that's like greatly overrated by Oilers fans at all.
Excellent.
No, I'm pumped. It's a good, show me deal. Obviously you wish you want longer term, but Oilers flexed all their power in this one because he has no arb rates this year. So yeah, good deal. He's on the books, and now, prove yourself, bro.
Yeah. And if him and Puljujarvi, quote unquote, prove themselves this year, the Oilers are going to be in a wee bit of trouble next season. Because as it sits right now, they have $6.7 million in cap space for next season. They're going to need a goalie to play with Mike Smith, and then they're going to have to sign Yamamoto and Puljujarvi. And when you look at the team, there's not, aside from Zach Kassian, there's not really like a bad contract that you look at. It's like, oh, they'll just get that off the books and they'll move him out. Like, they're pretty set. And $7 million to sign Puljujarvi, Yamamoto, and a goalie is like
kind of all off, man. We'll find out tonight what we got there.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, there's your Oilers talk for the people who listen to this for the hockey takes.
I thought you were talking about like kids hockey, youth sports. We're back.
Yeah, that's the top of mind team we're all looking to discuss.
Yeah. The White Mud West Wranglers. How are they doing?
Can you believe it?
They just made the teams. It says with this last weekend I just had was probably going to be the last one without hockey for a long time.
Mixed emotions about that, or are you generally pretty happy?
No, there is. Yeah, there always is. I mean, I like having a weekend where we can go and do something, but I really, really like being back on the ice here, and I really like being, going through the evaluation process as somebody that was helping out with it, and it was good to see all the kids again. And yeah,
are you coaching Chalmers?
Not head coach this year. No, there are two other head coaches that are coaching the two teams that are in our tier, and I will be helping with one of them. So yeah, I'm assistant coach, so I'm there all the time, and it's gotten ramped up a little bit. So I don't know how much we want to talk about like youth sports and HSL and like all these different hockey leagues that all these different people have created that have changed the way youth sports is run. But it's a lot different than it was when I was a kid. Let's put it that way.
It's a lot different than it was when I was a kid, and I'm still a kid.
Yeah, and you're still a kid. I know. And so it's constantly ever changing. And this year, White Mud West has had to, come up with a way because, you lose your top level kids to these other leagues because they can guarantee, 5 ice times a week and playing against the best of the best. And, it's clear that money isn't an object in that kind of thing because the people pay it. And,
what's the solution for these like grassroots programs like White Mud West? Like, does the city need to step up and be like, listen, we're going to like give you more ice time. We're going to prioritize you getting ice time. We're going to only give you guys our city rinks. Like, what's the solution?
So I don't know, but what we were told at the beginning of this year, and this is only for tier 1, is that it's going to be a pilot project for this year in Adam. And that is that we are going to, first off, it's going to cost a bit more money if you decide that you want to go through with it. It's going to be 5 times a week. It's going to be more competitive. There's going to be more structure, more coaching. They're basically trying to say that, once kind of, White Mud and the Hawks and KC, it was kind of looked at, that's just your house league. You play 2-3 times a week, you have some fun with your friends and you go out and you play some hockey, and that's what you did. Right. But now it's like, if you want to compete and you want to be, in an organization that has some of the best, coaching, some of the best ice times, you don't have to travel, because that is the one problem, is the city of Edmonton and the minor organizations, they have they have an agreement about ice. So when leagues like HSL or other leagues that come in, they have to travel a lot, right? And a lot of times to play other teams in their leagues, they have to go to other cities. And that's, when you play for like a White Mud, let's say you play city teams, St. Albert, maybe, well, not maybe, but you play St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Stony Plain, Spruce Grove. And that's about as far as you go. And that's it's advantageous for parents that don't want to feel like you're doing a out of town tournament every weekend. But the trade-off was that the hockey was not as competitive. Yeah. So what's the answer? Well, we'll see if this year, if this pilot project works and if we can get some of our kids back. I mean, the thing was last year on our Adam Tier 1 team, we only had one first-year kid. On Adam Tier 1, one first-year player. And that player didn't stay with White Mud for their second year of Adam. They left. Meaning that the 2 Tier 1 teams, because the year 2011, I guess it has a lot of kids. I don't know, but we have 2 teams. But it's all first-year Tier 1 players, right? Not all first-year kids. There's a lot of second-year kids on the teams, but there's usually there would be a couple first years who had made the Tier 1 team and then kind of played Tier 1 again the second year. And this year we just don't have that. And so, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. This is kind of my first time going through it. There's probably some things that I've even said in here that maybe might not be hugely accurate. I know that for the most part, I'm correct in what I'm saying, but what's the answer? I don't really know.
Well, this
Putting
podcast,
some pride in it.
Yeah, put some pride in it. This
Some
podcast,
pride in your play. Yeah.
How about you try harder, you little shit kids? How's that work out?
Shout out to our friends at Twig and Berries, where you can get 15% off with the promo code NATION15. Head to twigandberries.ca or to their physical store in St. Albert. Make yourself look better. They got good fall clothing. When I look at some of their stuff, they have their end of summer sale on right now. But when I look at like a lot of their classic Twig and Berries clothing on top of their fantastic brands of underwear, that screams like fall. It screams like sitting around a fire when it's like 0 out. Anyways, Twig and Berries.
Now, Yaremchuk, I have a question about the ads on this show as a longtime listener of this show.
Yep.
What are you writing down over there?
Edit Wanye from show.
Edit all of that.
Cold son of a bitch.
Just put on the music.
I'm just happy, Chalmers. I'm just happy on the show today that I was able to talk about Wanye Jr.'s birthday for half a breath, and you took 10 minutes to break down how Adam Tier 1 is going to work out this year in the west end of fucking Edmonton. That's a fair trade.
You're half of a breath.
Well,
okay.
Let's give Wanye Jr. his due.
Yeah. Say one more thing about his birthday party, and that's it.
My father, Wanye Sr., looked at me at one point during the birthday party and goes, "You can't be doting with the kid like that. He'll turn out soft." How's that grab you? Doting. I didn't even know that was a word.
That's what I need to know is, what does doting mean?
Look up doting. It basically means you fawn all over your kid and let him get away with murder. And my old man called me out basically for being too nice to my kid. Nope.
Doting. Extremely and uncritically fond of someone.
Anyways, now that we got through Wanye's second Wanye Jr. update,
you son of a bitch! You
don't love your kids so much.
One-on-one with goddamn Bill Daly. Suddenly, Wanye Jr. is not important.
No, I was setting up a joke to go, Chalmers, who's playing top pairing on your Adam team?
I don't know.
I'm too doting.
Too doting. The first practice because I went out of town and went golfing.
Not doting.
So I'm going there tonight.
Oh, yep.
If your Adam Tier 1 team starts like 0-4, is there a chance you overthrow the head coach and take over the team?
No, not that. I don't have the time for that. But
You're too doting.
I'm not going to be too doting with these kids. I'll tell you that much.
You're more like Andy Roddick's dad, aren't you? You're just waking him up at 5 a.m. to run and look all boyish. And when he gets older, look cartoonishly not boyish.
Yes, I am very much like that. That is the one thing from that documentary that I did notice is like the parents were very different in the way that they acted towards their son's success. But what it did really show me too is that like if you have it in you to push your son or daughter to be that great of an athlete, that says something about just like your commitment level as well, because it's not easy. Like the Roddicks, I don't know what he did for a living, but
he was in the military.
No. Oh, was he?
Andy Roddick's dad. Yeah. Well, I know this having seen the documentary, Chalmers. Legitimately, I just know that somehow. Look it up. I bet you it's true.
No. You're right. Because, and he even said it was like a military thing where they woke him up at 5 a.m. to like stretch and you're going to be on the court by like 6:30. But it's a huge like amount of work to put in to try and give your child a chance at that success. And I think it's
easier to be doting.
It is. Just have them be soft.
And, and then
just lay on the couch and collect government money.
Fucking right. Just push him around in his Raptor.
All right. Well, I like it. You guys went like an hour and a half when Waz was producing, huh?
Yeah. It's really easy to talk when you're not under the threat of a tyrant telling you to shut up.
I have never told you to shut up. If anything, over the last couple of weeks, I've been doing less prep for this show and just hoping you specifically have good stuff to talk about. Yeah.
Hashtag avoid the grind.
Classic.
Have some fucking pride.
Did you see how Bozo on Twitter say he doesn't do podcasts unless he gets paid, and then everyone told him off, and then he made his account private?
What?
No. There was some guy who was like went on some rant about how he was asked to go on a show. And how dare you? He charges for every podcast he goes on, and blah 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 blah. And then like all the podcasters just went after this guy. It's pretty funny.
So I once, when I was a radio producer back in the day, this was one of my most embarrassing moments. There was a prominent Canadian sports team that was going on a rather deep playoff run. And I had texted a reporter of this team who I'd texted before, and he had told me he was busy. I'm sorry. I texted him. I said, hey, man, I know you're very busy, but if you had 15 minutes tomorrow, would love to have you on the show to talk Raptors. Won't keep you long. Let me know. He left me on red, and then like 20 minutes later went off on a Twitter rant about radio producers who don't understand the value of a journalist's time and how he doesn't have like 15 minutes to throw out during a playoff run to just talk for no reason, blah, 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 blah. And I felt really bad about myself.
Podcasters out there, people just in general. Doing shit for other people is how you get ahead in life. And if you're some fuckstick with a goddamn odometer about how much money you're getting paid to appear on other people's podcasts, chances are no one good's going to go on your podcast because you're probably not going to reciprocate, right? Just be nice.
I once texted a Canadian soccer analyst, and I was like, hey, can you come on and talk about the Premier League kicking off today? And he responded, he had half, if not less, half as many Twitter followers as me. So I was like, good exposure. Low Tide also has like 25,000 Twitter followers. TSN account has like 30, good exposure to come on the air, buddy, with 2,000. And he goes, sorry, I only do paid hits. And I was like, I can't imagine you get a lot of them. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Wow. Bazing. Well done.
Yeah. Those are always fun. Also, I met the guy who was representing the Associated Press this weekend. His name was Stephen Wino, and he's a very, very nice guy. I'd never met him in person before, never really interacted with him. But super nice. Treated me to some Chicago deep dish pizza for lunch. It was very kind of him. But we're sitting there and he's like, hey, can I grab your number in case, we want to talk down the road or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I give him my number and he goes, oh, this is awkward. You've texted me before for a radio hit and I've ignored you. And I was like, classic wino.
Are you in the Illuminati now, you think, Yaremchuk, if you were to guess?
Are people monitoring my phone calls? I think so.
If you aren't in the Illuminati, you can see the Illuminati from where you're sitting now in the arena. Like, you're close.
Yes.
You're going to go on one more trip, come back and be like, oh, I'm not allowed to talk about anything ever again, guys, because I know the truth about everything now. And I'll say, shit, my plan's complete. Now we get to talk to Liam every day.
Now that I know how desperately you all want me off the pod, it only fuels my motivation to actively be on the pod. I
I like being right if you haven't noticed. Yeah. Not gonna let you guys win.
Yeah. Classic guy who plays the double up in DraftKings.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man. I've never shamed anyone here for their betting patterns or whatever.
Bet with your heart. Everybody knows it.
Yep. Hey, Yaremchuk, remember when I bet on the Oilers and I made you place that bet and then I fucked you around for like a day and didn't pay you to piss you off?
It was good podcast content, but you didn't pay me for a few days, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Man,
I won't."
I set a deadline on the pod, and there was part of me that was like, "You know what? I kind of don't mind having $50 on the Oilers to win the cup. I hope this guy doesn't pay me."
There could be no bigger kick to my groin than if I fucked you around in an Oilers cup run bet, then they won the cup and you kept the money. That would be a lot.
But you know what, though? You know what? It might have been the only reason why they won the cup. So maybe it was a good thing. And you have to embrace why that happened and
That's
lean
a
into
think
it.
piece. That's a think piece. I was just wondering, Yaremchuk, because you have the account. Did my bet win? My $50 on the Oilers to win the cup. Did they win? Yaremchuk?
No.
Oh, they didn't? Oh, they didn't win?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just had to follow up on my bet. Maybe they'd won and you'd kept the money. You're a fucking shyster.
If I kept the money, I would have put it towards a new roadcaster.
Hey, are we getting a new roadcaster, or is that just a dream I had?
I just need to be given the thumbs up and I'll buy one.
How many times do we have to say get a new roadcaster?
Fuck.
No,
There's gonna
that's
be a
not
new
the way this
roadcaster.
went.
Holy
shit! Get it? There'll be a 4,000.
And you're
on
the
market.
boss now, anyways. It's your fucking decision, not mine.
At our last meeting, it was like, are we getting a roadcaster? Are we getting something better? And I was like, I can go look to see if we can get something better, but I'm not sure. So
And have you looked into it?
I went and did my research, and I have a list of things I will bring up at the meeting tomorrow. Roadcaster info is at the top of that list.
We want the Tyler Yaremchuk of roadcasters. That's the biggest compliment I can pay you.
There's one.
There's only one
Get that one.
There's only one Tyler Yaremchuk, and he is in Chicago, stuck, kidnapped. This is a fake.
That's why you have that floopy hairdo now. I knew you were a fake. You've been cloned.
Yeah, that was my one fatal slip up. I did not know the real Tyler Yaremchuk always wore hats.
You did face off with Bucci Mane, and we're talking Bucci Mane, and now you're on ESPN.
That'd be something.
Yaremchuk, we don't like you, but we're proud of you. You've done a very good job for yourself.
And I'm proud to be a member of this podcast.
Liar.
I'm proud that we have great sponsors like the HGA Group, Twig and Berries, and DoorDash. Ding dong.
Ding dong.
I'm proud of you, Chris Chalmers. I don't know what you're doing right now, but it doesn't look like you're actively listening. So shout out to Chalmers.
There's been a lot of awkward pauses on this show.
Oh, yeah, you're not listening. Yeah, there has been a lot of awkward pauses. So that's probably my cue to wrap it up and edit out the 7 things I need to edit from this podcast.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No wonder my good.
Are you this undisciplined when Waz produces? Does he have to edit like 9 things?
The conflict when Waz produces is nominal.
Yep. We just have a good time. We sit down and have a hashtag fun.
This podcast is good when it just walks the line where we know we won't get in trouble, but we know it's spicy. I think
and the sexual tension is so thick, you can cut it with a chainsaw.
Yeah. And then the problem is there's like 3 instances today where I think I need to edit stuff out. And we talk about having to edit it out after, and that's actually kind of funny. So then I just need to put like an awkward bleep in there. And then the people listening are like, what the fuck? I want to hear what they said. It's not good for anyone, really. But anyways, I don't know. Jay, I'll be calling you to tell you what I need to edit out.
If you got to hear what I said, if we got to hear what we say when it's bleeped, chances are is you wouldn't get to hear us anymore ever. So just think about it that way.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything.
Chalmers tried to get us kicked off Apple Podcast today.
Yeah.
Chalmers, you keep those fucking binders on the floor during this show. As soon as the binders came on your desk, your mind started to wander. The old stapler came out. You're stapling and collating like you love so much. And suddenly I didn't know where the hell the fucking amateur hockey situation is in the west end of Edmonton.
Should we get, now that we're getting close to the start of the season, should we do John Scott and Frank Seravalli soon on different pods?
Yes.
Now, what you should get on, maybe in October. Maybe we'll like start big in October and have Frank or John. That might be.
But I insist on being paid.
Yeah.
You insist only for that episode.
John
too.
and Frank have to pay us, actually.
Yeah. What's John getting? I want double or I'm out.
It's good exposure for Frank Seravalli to come on this podcast.
Does Frank? Yeah, it is. Does Frank watch NFL football or does he not care at all?
I think he's like a local Philly sports fan, but outside of hockey, I don't think he's big into anything.
Eagles.
But he did ask me about Chalmers on the trip.
Come on.
Yeah. What did he want to know? What did he want to know?
We were just talking about the golf tournament, and he was like, "Oh, did my funny stuff with Chalmers make it onto the video?" And I was like, "I don't think so."
Yeah,
he's like,
I don't think so either.
I like Chalmers.
Well, have we received the video? We did a tease. Oh no, it's a thing. We got a teaser little ramp up video. Have we received any more video footage? Big Milk?
Not me. Nope.
All right.
Okay.
You tell Frankie boy that I like him a lot too.
You can tell him on the podcast when we have him.
So bizarre. Chalmers. Look at the contacts you're making. You could be the next Tyler Yaremchuk.
Oh my God. Me? Not me.
Me?
Oh, hello. Flicks my hair.
This has been episode 315 of the Real Life Podcast. Will we have a 316th episode? Will Apple let us back on their platform? I guess we'll find out Thursday. Thanks for
Call
doing
it. Put
this,
some
guys.
pride on it. Say something with pride in the title.
Yeah. Okay. Put some pride
That's
on
cool.
it. Sounds good. Everyone have a good week. We'll talk Thursday.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.